Now, this move we're seeing here from the Masters champion, Rory McIlroy, makes driver so much easier. It's one of the big reasons of why driver is such a weapon in his game, but it's one of the big things we never see in amateur golfers. And if you get this move into your swing, I'm going to show you two great drills from this video. You're going to, one, hit the ball a lot straighter. You might even hit that Rory little draw. One of the big reasons why he hits that big, high, powerful draw is this move we're talking about. And secondly, you're going to optimize your driver way better for better distance with less effort. So what is that move? And that is his top of the backswing position, his hand depth. So he has his hand either around the heels or slightly behind, which is more common for Rory. So more around him. And this is absolutely huge. So many golfers do not do this. Loads of golfers just bring their hands and arms straight up. So such a good move for hitting, one, on the inside a little bit more to hit that Rory draw, but two, for optimizing your driver big time. You can do this with irons. So just so I can show you here, I'm going to hit two balls before we dive into exactly how to do this. I'm going to hit one via doing what amateurs do, lifting up, and one getting it more around me. Now, I do not hit the ball as far as Rory does, but you're going to see a much different distance in this. So I'm going to pick the arms up, do what we don't want to do. And what we're generally going to see from there, yep, exactly, quite a swipey, slicey movement. Really hard to apply any power from doing that. And on this swing now, I'm going to get that move, get those hands and arms more around me to where they feel like they're behind me at the top. Now, you have to do this in a very specific way to not encourage faults, which we could talk about. So 208 was the carry, 260 total. So lots of run, but let's give this one a go. Now, that felt absolutely awesome and just blew that one out of the water. So 259 carry, 285 total, without really feeling like I was going at it. I moved back a little bit for it. Disabled golfer, I've got cerebral palsy. It's hard for me to stay balanced with driver, but a 60-yard difference in carry. So a lot of you might not gain 60 yards, but you'll absolutely gain yardage, and look how much straighter that is too. So before we dive into the drills, how to get yourself doing this move, why does this help so much? Is to get understanding and ownership over your golf swing. You've got to understand why moves work and knowing whether it's right for you or not in your golf swing. So when we get more backswing depth, so depth of your hands, more depth means more behind you. What that does, one, that encourages you to swing more in to out. So if we get our hands and arms moving around, let's say in a Rory fashion behind us, as we start moving down, that club will naturally want to work on the in. So for Rory, he can sometimes have with his driver 4 to 5 degrees on the inside, so quite considerably hitting on the in. So if we have the amateur golfer move where we're right up here, just lifting the arms up, that's going to generally make the hands and arms go more out in front. So the less depth you have, the more the hands and arms go out in front. The more depth you have, the more it moves from the inside. So secondly, if I get that more depth, it's going to really help me hit more on the up. So which is what Rory does really, really well. So if I'm a golfer who just lifts up in the swing, what amateurs do, and I move down, yes, the club's going to move out in front of us like we said, but the hands are also going to be really high, and that's going to promote a downward angle of attack. So if I get that better depth, it's going to help the hands travel lower. Like we could see there with Rory. See how his hands at sharp parallel to the ground, the downswing, are right around his right leg. That's awesome. So right kind of mid-thigh region. So that's going to help him promote hit on the up. That is because of his depth at the top. So now we've described the why we want to do it, which is so important to understand the why. Now let's get into how to do it. Okay, so how do we get the depth at the top of our backswing? And it is not via just dragging the hands and arms around. So that's why I said earlier, got to be careful on how you do this. So backswing depth is ultimately created via two things: the quality of your takeaway, how are your hands traveling, and then from there, your rotation of the body. Because rotation of the body in the backswing and in the golf swing in general is what controls the around movement of our arms. So our arms do two things in the golf swing. They go up, and that is ultimately the only thing they control, but they ultimately go around the body as well. They get depth, which is controlled by body rotation. Because with amateur golfers who really struggle with this, they just don't get backswing rotation. They just lift those arms up and then dead straight down again. And that's where they get that horrible, horrible drive. Almost missed that, as you could see. So super important to get the rotational element into your golf swing and the takeaway. Okay, so the takeaway, what we want the hands to be relatively close to our right leg as we move back, as a feeling. What we really don't want to happen is the hands going out, because then they're just going to travel up. So the feeling I like golfers to have as they move back is feeling like they're about a fist distance from their right leg. If you're doing that, your hands are starting to curve inwards. Now in that takeaway, we do have a little bit of a chest rotation as we turn back. We have relatively quiet legs, but the hands go in, the club goes out. So if we can get that point, some good rehearsals there. Okay, little turn of the chest, hands go in, club goes out. Don't be afraid to exaggerate it. A lot of my students who suffer with this hands going out, we feel like, as an exaggerated feeling, like we're punching the right leg as we move back. So that will encourage the hands to start that travel around you. So the backswing turn, the main important bit, this is what our drills are going to be about in this video. So when we are turning, okay, we want to do the bulk of our turn, especially with our lower body, after the takeaway. We want to really turn those hips up to the top of the swing. If we're rotating those hips, we'll rotate that upper body. That'll be the one different thing we will have than Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy is extremely flexible. He can get a full backswing rotation without a tremendous amount of hip turn. Most of us cannot do that. Even me as a professional golfer, I cannot do that. So that's where if we get those hips turning, we are going to get the hands traveling around us naturally after our good takeaway. And that's going to get us into that great spot if we can get that good rotation. So a feel that I like here, before we dive into the drill, is having the back belt loop to the trousers pointing just to the left, or if not, at the target at the top of the swing. That will get you that really good turn. If we can get that takeaway in a good spot, it's going to help us massively. So hands in, club out, and get that big full turn, back belt loops to the target. That's what we want to do. So 2 drills, let's go. Okay, the first drill is something that Rory does himself, and that is the split hand drill. Rory does this primarily for his right arm movement, which is a great thing. I made a video about Rory's right arm about a couple months ago. Really good video to go and watch after this. But other than that, it's great for creating more depth. So what we do, we grip it like normal with our left hand, so normal placement. And then we get our right hand, put it just on the end of the grip there. So what this is going to do, this is going to really force, if you want to get up to the top of the swing in a good position, for you to be able to turn. And you can see it really helps you get the feeling of the hands and arms going around. Doesn't feel good if we just lift up here. Really encourages good rotation and a good arm position. Also helps a good forearm movement in the takeaway. For us to get hands going in, club going out, gives you good forearm rotation. We're not rolling. This one, if we roll, of course, we don't want to do that. That's going to feel really weird. So up to the top, that gets us good rotation, good feeling of the forearms in the takeaway. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, so second drill here. This one I work with all my students who suffer with this issue over online on Skillist. So absolutely brilliant. I've done this a ton myself, and I'm actually doing it with my game at the moment. I need a little bit more backswing depth as well. So this video is great for me practicing wise. So what we do, we have a long alignment stick. So with this long alignment stick, this is ultimately a swing plate with extension pole attachment. If you want one of these, there's a link in the description to grab yourself. So what we're doing here, we're ultimately having this stick to where it's just about a hand's distance outside the right shoulder. And it's ultimately either just above the right shoulder, where I'm going to move mine slightly up to get there, or level with it. So depending on, let's say, how hard you want to make this drill, the lower you have it, the more depth you have to get, of course. So I'm going to make it about a medium difficulty. So as you can see there, it's just above my right shoulder. So it will really give me the feel to get more round. But I don't want to do that via just pulling the arms around. I want to do that via good takeaway and good hip rotation. So if I think of those good feels we said earlier, swing underneath the stick as well. Little bit of a toe shot, little bit of a push like the last one, but still very, very workable. And that's the thing I like that swing, and like the swing I hit just before we cut to that, that's still going to be in the fairway on most golf courses. And we know the driver is not a sniper rifle. It's a shotgun when it comes to dispersion. That's why I love this technique. And one of the reasons why Rory is ultimately probably one of the best drivers of all time is because his technique really lends himself to not only hit the driver long, and even that was a miss hit and it's still gone 272. Getting that more depth is so important to swinging the driver well. And that's one thing to note here, guys. Like I said, I'm working on this myself. Just getting those good feels to get more around, and it's hard. So that's the thing, I'm going to be lucky to hit a good one here because it targets my problem area in the golf swing also with driver at the moment. So that's where when you're doing a drill and it's difficult straight away, that does not mean it's the wrong drill for you. That means it's targeting your weak area. So let's see here if I could get a little bit of a better one. So get that good turn, swing underneath the stick. Again, same kind of thing, little bit on the toe side, but absolutely be drilling in the movement I want. So let's say even for myself, if I did that while I was doing start, takeaway, and then make sure we're getting this drill in here, swinging underneath, a little bit of the split hand drill, going to be hitting driver immensely better. It makes driver so much easier. So if you're going for a slump with your driver, do these. Again, Rory McIlroy, best driver of the golf ball in the world for a reason. His technique in certain areas, really in all areas, is pretty damn good, but especially with his top of the backswing position. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction just like this, hit the subscribe button and hit that bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.